How's it going? I'm Ryan Greenspan from San Diego Dynasty and BKIPaintball.com. What I'm going to do today is I've got my custom signature series Planet Eclipse CS1, and I also have one of the Dynasty Edition brand new milled CS1s. And what I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I apologize that I haven't done it sooner, is go through all the settings that I have on my CS1. I get lots of emails, and at events I get a lot of people coming up to me and asking me, what do I do to my gun to make it perform the way it does? So I just unboxed this limited edition CS1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through all the settings that I put onto my personal gun. So the person who ends up buying this gun right here from me will have all my settings pre-programmed into it for the NXL. So the first thing I do is you want to turn your gun on by pushing the middle button twice. I've already taken the side grip screws out, so you're going to want to take those out as well. It's on the right hand side panel. Then you're going to open your grip frame, and there's a little red button right inside of there. You want to push that red button to unlock your board. You can't change any of the settings with the board locked. Most tournaments require that you have your board locked. I actually don't usually play with mine just in case there needs to be a quick setting that I need to change, but please check with your local events and the rules to make sure that you can play with your board locked or unlocked, because like I said, most leagues require that you have a locked board when you're playing. So just keep that into consideration, so when you're done, close it back up, you want to lock it again. So back to the settings. To get into the setting mode, you push the middle button twice and it'll have a little turn off with some snooze Z's bouncing around up there. You're going to scroll down through to the presets, okay? Push the middle button to load the presets, and then you're going to go cycle down. After you load, you're going to cycle down. It's going to go semi 15, PSP 10, PSP 12, which we don't use anymore, and then MS 10. That's what I play with, and that's what the NXL is, and that's what the Millennium Series is, obviously. So I'm going to push the middle button to select that, and that's going to start with the basic setup, okay? That's the basic parameters that Eclipse has loaded. I cycle up one button, push the middle button again to go back, and now I'm back in the main menu where it's presets. I cycle down, fire mode is at ramp, down again, rate of fire cap on. Then I cycle down to, it says BS on ROF. That is the, when the eyes are on, that's the rate of fire. It's at 10 right now. Now the rules say you can go to 10.5. So I push the middle button and I go up. I actually keep it at about 10.4 just in case there's a little bit of irregularity or if there's some sort of issue with the dwell or something like that. I just always like to play it safe. A lot of people like to ride the line and go to 10.5, but again, it's a really finite, 1/10 of a ball per second. So I just keep it under just a little bit just to play it safe. So you're gonna select that, keep that on, and then the next one is BS off rate of fire. So that's when the eyes are off, okay? I go up with that one to about 10.2 or 10.3. That again is only when the eyes are off. So if you break a ball, if there's a jam, or if there's something like that, you wanna change that a little bit if you want. It's not the end of the world if you just keep it at 10. Ramp setup is going to be at, you don't mess with that. It's set at step. The kick in and the sustain are set at 5. That's what the rules say you need to keep it at, so I don't mess with those. The timing. Now a lot of people ask me what they change their timing for, and that's the dwell. So that's how quickly or how long the bolt stays open. Now depending on the weather, I'm living in beautiful San Diego, so the weather is never really a factor here, so I just keep it stock at 27. Now if I'm playing in a very cold environment, I'll bring the dwell up a little bit so that helps it cycle. If for some reason I forgot to grease my gun and I don't have any grease and my bolt seems to sticking a little bit, then I'll bump it up as well. Now for very fragile paint, if you can go down 1 point or maybe a half a point, that'll be good as well. For right now though, I just keep it set at 27, and then I'll use this SFR valve, the mechanical dwell, some people like to call it. That thing I keep as low as possible as long as the gun is cycling. So that's more or less what I adjust to get the dwell going or to get that softer feel of a shot. Also, if you're breaking a little bit of paint, you can maybe drop the dwell down a tiny bit, but you're gonna sacrifice rate of fire a little bit. So again, I keep that at 27. If I'm playing in very cold environments, which during the summertime I'm not, I'll bump it up to maybe 28. If I'm breaking paint, I might bring it down to 26 and a half, maybe 26 if I can get away with it. But This is one of those things that I don't really like to mess with unless the texts tell me to. All right, so I'm gonna go back out of the timing. The filter is gonna be your debounce level. I put that down to 1. I don't really think it has much of effect with the ramping mode, but if you're playing semi-auto, if you're playing in the woods, I like to put that at 1 because you can get a higher rate of fire. And let's see. Everything else in there, I keep everything else exactly the same, mainly because I don't really know what the other things do, and I just keep it simple. I don't like to mess with a lot of stuff. The next thing that I change, if you cycle back out of that menu and you go down one more to the hardware, that's the little hammer hitting the nail on the head. I go into that, and the trigger is out of the box factory set to opto. What that means is there's a brake beam eye inside of where the trigger engages. You can actually see it out of the right side of your grip as well. There are 2 ways for the gun to cycle. One is a brake beam eye, which is the opto, and then one is switch, which is what I always keep it to, which is the traditional micro switch. So I select that and I go down to switch. The reason I keep this in switch, maybe I'm old school and I like the feel of the micro switch, but if you get shot in the grip or you get shot a lot and you don't like to clean your gun very often, like myself, there can get paint. If you get a lot of paint in there, I guess it can affect a little bit of everything, but I always have it in the back of my mind that it's easier for the paint to disrupt the laser eye. So that's why I keep it at switch, to be honest. And I think Rodney Squires back in the day always said, put it at switch, it's better. So the rest of the stuff under this category are your tones. So like the sound when you turn your gun on, the tones for when you cycle through the menu and all that stuff. And you can change the color. I just keep it at blue, little Dynasty blue, but you can play around with that all you want. Then the rest of the stuff, you know, the game timer and all that stuff, I don't really mess with. So I always tell people I pretty much keep everything stock unless the text or somebody advises me to change it. But that's true, exactly true. This trigger I really like at stock. I keep the engaging point, which is where the gun actually fires. I try to keep that as far back as possible. So as I pull the trigger, it'll engage at the very far back end of the trigger. So that way there's no possibility of me short stroking it. So honestly, like I said, everything that I do for my gun is pretty stock. I changed the engaging mechanism from opto to switch. I put the debounce at 1. I keep the dwell pretty much the same unless I'm noticing a difference in the way the gun's firing. Otherwise, I'll use the SFR valve to adjust the mechanical dwell a little bit. And yeah, I put it at Millennium Series 10, and I put it at 10.4 balls a second instead of 10.5 because I don't really like to ride that line. So this gun is all set up exactly how I have this gun set up. So I hope that helped answer some of your guys' questions. And if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me a message on my Facebook fan page or Instagram. If you guys have any questions about on-field gameplay and what's going on, check out bkipaintball.com. I've been working pretty closely with Grayson Goff and Scott Kemp to help provide a lot of insight into game planning and drills and all sorts of stuff. So go check that out. And I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial on how to set up your gun. Thanks a lot for watching.